his secretary. And they're squealing like little pigs. And that's what they are. They're all pigs. And the point you made about the study coming in with $200 trillion of debt, it's accurate. The country is going down, and it's going down quick. And the other point that I'd like to make that you made about how all these liberals out there, we call them the Obama apologists. We wrote about it in the Trends Journal. Here's one for you, Gary. Let's suppose it's 2007. And that great philosopher president was in office, George W. Bush. And you read the headline, U.S. drone kills 6, quote, militants. I love that word, militants in Pakistan. Oh, the liberals would be out there, boy. Oh, yeah, look at that crazy maniac Bush going into a sovereign country and killing people that haven't been brought to trial. We haven't heard anything about what they did, but they're suspected militants. So it's okay to kill them because now, of course, Obama and the military, they're the judge, the jury, and the executioners. They're sending in these predator drones, these kids, 20-something-year-olds. They've killed over 70 people since September 2nd in Pakistan, a sovereign nation. Oh, Pakistan, the place that you have 20 million plus people that have been displaced out of their homes in just the last 2 months because of those floods, and the country's in turmoil, and the United States proxy war being fought on the United States' behalf by the Pakistani military has displaced another couple of million in the Swat Valley in North and South Waziristan. Those Pakistanis, and they just celebrated 9/11. Not one word, not one peep. Hey, why do they hate us? Oh, the great philosopher president, said George W. Bush. Oh, because they hate our freedom and liberty. And everybody claps and cheers. Oh, no, it couldn't be because of foreign policy, could it? It couldn't be because of people like Obama selling the Saudis. What is it now? 60 billion with a B worth of armaments. Oh, you know, Gary, that great democracy, the Saudi Arabian kingdom.
They give all their women freedoms that we don't even give in America. Is that the same Saudi Arabia?
That's the one. These are our allies. And that word allies, yeah, Obama lies, Bush lies, Clinton lies. They're all lies. They're allies. And so what people are missing here, and this is what we do, of course, you start connecting all the dots, start putting it all together. And you're going to see something happen in this country, and this is what we're forecasting. It's going to either come from a terror strike, from ramping up the wars in the Middle East, oh, that other great, and that great democracy over there in Iraq. The combat's ended, you know. The American troops are fighting, of course, but according to the propaganda in chief, the combat missions have ended, plus the Afghan war, and now this Pakistan war. And now put this into perspective. And there are not a lot of Afghanis in the United States, nor there are a lot of Iraqis. But, boy, there are a lot of Pakistanis. And, boy, there are a lot of angry ones because their loved ones are being slaughtered by the United States proxy war being fought by the Pakistani military and sending in these predator drones. These are called extrajudicial killings. And the United States is behind it. So you think they're going to want to seek any revenge? So now you put all the pieces together. A terror strike comes. Go back to 9/11. When terrorists struck, the first thing they did was they closed down Wall Street. If you had certificates of deposit, you couldn't get them out. This time we believe they're going to close the banks. And you're not going to get your money out. Oh, it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. But they'll do what they do in every third world nation as America's sinking into it. You just can't get your money out all at once like they did in Argentina and Brazil and all the other countries that have these kind of problems when they strike. So we're telling people, to be cautious. Why would anybody put their money in the banks when they're not paying them any interest? Oh, because it's safe there. Yeah, somebody's going to break into your house, and they're going to go into your garage, and they're going to find that gold or money that you may have hidden in the massive paint cans that you have over there, that or that safe that you may have in a very safe place. So anybody, to me, that either puts their money in Wall Street, or the casino, that rigged game, or keeps it in the bank and doesn't have enough on hand in the event of emergency, deserves what they get. And just like the people, and again, when we're talking about regulation in this country, the only people that are being regulated, taxed, and pushed down into the ground are the little people. Whether it was that little kid out there in Portland, Oregon, that liberal Oregon out there who they busted for selling lemonade. Remember that one? Where they want to hit her up for $140 license, and then they roll out this.
Team to arrest the kid for selling lemonade. They're good at that.
Right, they're good at that. And then they roll out this health inspector, another bureaucrat, a guy that's never worked a day in his life and sucked his way up to get the job. And then he said, well, we have to protect the big and the small alike. Yeah, like they protected the people against this this farm, that factory where they recall 500 million eggs. And when was the FDA there, Gary, in the last year? How many times did they come and visit? None. And I think, and I love the names that they give the eggs that they sell. Hillendale Farms, Sunny Acre Farms. How about Auschwitz Farms, chicken coop concentration camps, mass-produced, mass-consumed, mass murder. And that's what's going on at every level. And I'm sick, and by the way, I'm totally against any kind of health care program that doesn't address the health care issue. If you eat at McDonald's, if you think Domino's is pizza, if you wake up in the morning and you go to Dunkin' Donuts, I don't want to pay for your health care. And that's what this country has to start getting. And by the way, when I talk about the liberals are responsible directly for where this Tea Party's going. Because the liberals have the intellectual capacity to see what's going on. But they don't have the guts to admit that they bought into a big hoax and a big lie, so they keep supporting Obama. But if they got out there, if they joined the Tea Party, if they joined protests, then we see it go in a different direction. The liberals are responsible for the direction this country's going in because they have the intellectual capacity to see what's going on, but they don't have the moral fortitude to admit that they've been conned by the propaganda in chief and the propaganda second guy out there, Biden. Oh, the summer of recovery. Remember that one? So, Gary, the ship is going down. It's sinking very quickly. This is the winter's coming upon us. Remember that parable of the grasshopper and the ant. This is the time. The summer's over. And remember, that ant didn't do it on his own. The ant was part of a colony. You have to get yourself aligned with like-minded people. Prepare for the worst to come, and also put yourself with like-minded people and direct the country in a direction where we could move into a renaissance. And about gold. Gold, if it was only to be as high as it reached in 1980 on January 20th, adjusted for inflation, it should already be at $2,300 an ounce, and that's why we're saying gold 2000.
Okay. Let's take a few of these points in more specific detail. Now, I've noticed something interesting, Gerald, over the last 6 months. I want to see if you who are out there and traveling, but I'm traveling a lot. I mean, filming on Poverty USA, one of my new documentaries, Death by Medicine, the 12 Tipping Points, Pathologizing Our Children, Greed Street. I have a lot of films that are coming to fruition and will be released in the next, one in 3 months, and then after that about every 6 months. So I'm having a chance to meet a lot of people. And what I'm finding is something that surprised me. I'm finding the people who at one time would have been kind of at the lead of saying, let us, while we still have time, in an unrushed and non-panicky way, let's take a look at where we believe the country is going, where we should go, how we can get there, what resources do we need, how can we support each other in this journey, and where historically we may have been doing things for ourselves, how we have to take a more spiritual path, subordinate our own egos so we can cooperate with one another. If I have a home and you have tools, then work together. If you have seeds and I have land, work together. So in other words, work with people based upon what you can offer and try to go off the idea that you're worth so much per hour historically. Instead say, what do I need to be happy and healthy, and how can we create that? And in that light, I began to look at, as you know, I've looked at over 7,000 properties to try to find the right place and the right location that had the clean, unlimited water, the soil, enough privacy that you're not going to be in harm's way as easily as if you're in a suburb or a major city, but close enough that you can market things to that, and where the climate is good 12 months a year, because with global warming, as you know, we have the coldest winters, the greatest snows, in the springtime, the greatest rains and flooding, in the summertime, the hottest summers. It's not like you have hot summers and then hot winters. You have generally weather patterns that are not conducive to quality of life during different seasons. But there are places where you do have quality of life. So after all said and done, when I'm going around the country and I'm looking at places, whether it's Taos, New Mexico, or Santa Fe, or Boulder, or any of the other great places out there historically, I'm finding I do not see at this time any real groups of people wanting to do this. Instead, here's what I see. Now, mind you, this may be my own subjective impression, but I try to stay neutral. I'll just give you one example. In Sedona, which historically been like a mecca for the more spiritual, artistic, progressive-minded people. Now I see a lot of people who are living in despair. I see an environment that's overdeveloped, massively overdeveloped. A lot of what was once made it great is now just, it looks like another strip mall driving through there of a lot of tacky places, a lot of them closed up. When you talk with the people, which I did, I spoke with about 300 people one-on-one recently, just a few weeks ago. I found that most are broke, most don't know what to do, and they're just kind of like hanging out and hiding out until they can't afford to be there. But if they weren't subsidized by someone making a living, they couldn't be doing their art or couldn't be doing anything else. Yet they all knew about crystals and homeopathy and colonics and raw. They were into all the nomenclature. But I call it like almost like the Deepak crowd. They can talk it, they don't walk it. You know, there's an underlying sense of disease. There's an underlying sense of incompleteness, loneliness, apathy. But it's hidden after you get past all of the hoorah-rahs and say, what are you actually doing? Tell me what you're actually doing to make it a better world. And I couldn't find the people who were actually doing that. Not to say that a few weren't. I'm just saying that I saw no great grouping. In fact, one of the people I met has a spa, and I looked at it, and it was really run down. And he was kind of sad, and he said, I had hoped that more people would come here who were more spiritual-minded, but they come because they want a free place to stay and some free food. But, man, the next day they're split, and they're gone. And he said, I just can't put up with this anymore. I can't afford it. And he said, I thought I had an epiphany, and I was told to come here. I said, no, you probably had an epiphany. But your epiphany said, go someplace, and this is where you ended up. But be honest, when you're in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong message and the wrong purpose, then recorrect yourself. Get back on the highway where you should be. Go to where you should be. I'm just not finding at this moment. Hopefully that will change when things get really bad. And then we will see the real progressives coming together. I do not see that. I see it in Ireland, Spain, Italy, France. I do see that. In Iceland, I see it. I'm in communication with whole communities. Here in the United States, we don't have an Esalen. We don't have a